Hey guys, Indy here with Ultimate 2 Reviews. Now, one thing that I've done for years now, I think I'm on my 12th year. I'm 29 now. I started when I was 16 or 17 working in the audio video world. And I've always done AV stuff, computers, surround sound, home theaters, networking, kind of something I've always done. I work for a number of different companies in Orlando that have done audio video work. And so one thing that I've kind of, continually changed over the years is my AV technician bag. I now own my own company here in Orlando, and I mostly just do service calls. Now, I will say one thing that is going to be quite different from every AV technician is depending on the company that you work for, the brands you carry, and the type of work you're doing for that company, your tools and bags could definitely vary tremendously. I primarily do very little new installs, but I do a lot of service work for my clients. Just, small things like mounting TVs here and there, but I mostly do a lot of troubleshooting people's home theaters, checking out TVs and sound systems. I don't do a ton of new install stuff, but I'm constantly doing service calls work on just, minor AV systems that are installed in my previous clients. So guys, without further ado, let's check out what I've got in my AV bag as basically a 12-year now technician. All right, so starting in the front pocket here, if we pop this open, I've got a few bit sets. Now, I've talked about bit sets before a bit on the channel here, and my favorite bits by far, and I'm not even a fan of Bosch too much, is going to be the Bosch bits. Now, I've got a few bits in here that are kind of interesting. So I do have these drill bits in here for a impact driver. They work really well. You can see where, I've used a few in this size. That's about it. Big fan of the Bosch bits, though. They hold up absolutely amazing. I'm really impressed with them. Now, I don't know if you've seen this before. A really cool bit holder by dewalt, and really, really handy to have when working in tight spaces. So it's just a normal bit holder right now. However, though, if you pull this dewalt black piece here, pull that up, you now can swivel this. It turns into a little bit of a swivel bit there and allows you to get into tighter spots. Really cool little bit holder. I just saw this a couple months back and I picked one up. Really cool little tool to have if you're an AV technician. So I keep a set of the Bosch bits here. Also love to keep a bunch of Makita bits on hand, always handy. This is the Impact X bits mixed with some Milwaukee bits, kind of filling some of the pieces here of what I've used up. I like having a massive selection of bits. I never know what I'm going to run into on an AV job, and I can't be stuck just because I don't have the right bit. All right, and that is everything for the exterior of this Milwaukee bag. I don't have anything in the pockets, anything that can fall out. I don't want to damage any expensive floors in any of my clients' homes. I like to be able to put my bag down on a drop cloth and be good to go. This thing can tip over on the drop cloth. It's not going to damage anything. Nothing's going to fall out when I'm walking into the client's home. That's really big for me. I want to make sure that I don't damage anything in the client's home. So let's pop this bag open and see what's inside. All right, here in this first compartment, this is where I keep all of my hand tools, pretty much all my go-to tools. If we start here in the flap, I have all my zip ties. I generally only use one size. I like to use the thin black ones that are about 8 or so inches long. If I got to double up on a few of them here and there, that's generally what I will do. Nothing in this bag here, and then down here I keep a small 16-foot Milwaukee tape measure. Keep a few more in my truck as well too, but I never really need anything more than say 8 or 9 feet, so this thing works really well. Now I've got a couple levels. I do need to upgrade my levels. Those are kind of the free, cheap ones I've gotten in a couple tool sets that I've gotten over the years, but they work just fine. The one thing that I need to get when it comes to levels is I like having the magnetic levels. If I'm leveling anything, it's going to be like maybe a TV. What I do with a TV is I take the magnets, I put them up. I'm not going to affect the TV with magnetism at all. Not that it would damage the TV, but I like to just be extra cautious, of course. But if I'm, leveling up a mount, I can put this on the mount. It's going to stick right to the mount. I don't have to worry about the thing falling off, which is nice. I always keep 2 on hand just in case. Kind of my rule is I always like to keep 2 every tool just in case something happens. I don't need to stop the job and kind of go on from there. I've had this mentioned a couple times. This is my dewalt right angle impact. It does come in handy a lot. And what I really like about this tool is that it comes undone here, just like this. So now it's a shorter version of that impact driver, or impact right angle, which is really, really nice to have. Just in case you ever need one, always great to have one on hand. Got a few other little hand tools down here, just a really small pry bar. You never know when something's gonna be kind of stuck to the wall. I've had clients, freshly paint a wall, say the day before, they put that mount up, and now that mount is totally stuck to that wall. Having like a little pry bar or something like this can help get that off the wall nice and easily. Something I don't use too frequently is going to be a jab saw or a drywall saw. I use it once in a while if I got to cut a little hole in the drywall or cut in maybe maybe like a nose plate or a ring or something like that. I don't really do too much of that work anymore, but I've got it just in case I need it. Got a few tools that I really haven't used in quite a while. Just a little cable stripper here. I don't really do too much for that anymore, but I keep it just in case I need it. I've got, of course, another little mini level, just a little spare here. Probably should toss this out. Haven't really used this thing in forever. Just got a little permanent marker in here. Probably should put that back up in there. All right, now let's get down to the meat of it here. All the hand tools in here. I'll start from the left and work my way right. I always keep a voltage tester, and I keep actually a few of them in here just in case. Always want to play it safe. Voltage testers can fail, they can false positive, so always good to have two. And if I'm doing something very, very critical, I'll make sure that I double check with two different voltage testers to make sure and be on the safe side. And of course I have another brand just in case, always in here. So those are the voltage testers out of here. All right, and then one thing that's probably my most used tool, which of course I keep two of them in here, is going to be these cobalt pen lights. Now, if you're wondering, my favorite flashlights are Cobalt and Husky, and it's for one very, very simple reason. These have lifetime warranties on them. I keep the receipts, and I've never had an issue with Cobalt or Husky ever denying these lifetime warranties. Doesn't matter how old these get, it's a lifetime warranty. They will replace them for you. Really cool to have those flashlights. And these often go on clearance and on sale pretty frequently. Best time to pick up some of these Cobalt flashlights is going to be right in January, February. I picked up a couple packs of these in 2 packs for like $4 a piece. Just an incredible deal, especially when they're a lifetime warranty. So this just fell down here. I was pulling that pen light out. You can't beat the Milwaukee ink saws. These things are absolutely amazing. You got to make some marks on, I don't make marks on the walls, but I put down some blue tape, make the marks on the blue tape, and you can pull that tape right off and you're good to go. All right, I've got the Milwaukee screwdriver set. I actually just upgraded from I think I had a Cobalt set in here, and I also had a Harbor Freight set as a backup, but I really love these screwdrivers. They are really comfortable to use, really easy to use, easy to read the markings. I like that they have the markings up on top. I do wish they had a number up here so they would tell you, hey, this is a number 3, number 2. That would be really nice to have. But at least they have, the markings up on top. That's really, really convenient. Big fan of that. And I got them on sale for $20 for, I think it was like a 16 pack of the screwdrivers. Of course, they have the lifetime warranty, but I never really break screwdrivers or anything. This is a tool that I actually use quite a lot, slip jaw pliers. Really, really nice to have. Now, one thing I've kind of went back and forth with, I have a number of brands of these. I will say my favorite brand is definitely Blue Point. I actually picked up some of those up at a pawn shop for really cheap, and they have just been amazing pliers. Now, I'm trying to find some new ones. I know Nipex is absolutely incredible, but they're kind of pricey is my only thing. So I found the Doyle brand at Harbor Freight. Whenever I get one of those 20% off coupons that are good for like one item, I go pick up one of the Doyle brands, and these things have performed absolutely amazing. I don't have any Nipex, so I can't compare it to Nipex, but I've been really impressed with the Doyle brand so far, and I've got a number of these in my truck and in my bags at all times. They've worked really well ever since. So I do have a smaller one. I got the Husky, picked up a nice Husky toolkit. I think it was last year for the holiday deals, and had a nice bit of selection of tools from the Husky. And of course I like to have a little bit smaller one too, just in case I never really know what I'm going to run into on job sites. So always great to have a smaller and a larger version of these pliers. All right, so I have a little bit of a RG6, RG59 compression tool. Pretty much never use this anymore. It's not very common to do compression. No one's doing cable much anymore. It's all streaming, so keep it in here just in case you might need it, but not a common tool to use anymore. Now this is something I definitely want to upgrade. I have a few of these. This is just going to be your usual cable strippers. I got the Klein Tools one now. Easily my favorite one. I think the worst one I ever used was the Pittsburgh Pro one at Harbor Freight. That's like $5 by the checkout lines. Those are terrible. But this is actually a pretty good one from Klein Tools. I do want to pick up maybe the Milwaukee or the Husky one and see how well those perform. Got some more Husky tools in here as well. Just always having, pliers. You never know what you're going to need when it comes to pliers, so keep a good selection of those in my bag at all times. All right, and this is the Pittsburgh one. This is just my backup for my Klein one. I've used this thing a number of times. I actually broke one of these as well. This is actually the replacement they gave me from Harbor Freight. But, these are not very good. I definitely don't recommend these. They're just okay. And then I've got a Pittsburgh pliers. I probably should take this out of here. I never really use this at all. But it does have a nice little cutter on here that I've probably used a couple times already. All right, moving on over here. Definitely a very, very heavily used tool is going to be a diagonal cutters. I've got the Husky in here now. I definitely like the Husky the best so far about all the ones that I've tried. It's relatively affordable. I guess between $7 and $9 depending on the Home Depot that you're at. And of course, lifetime warranty. These things have cut through pretty much everything I've tried to cut through. And, I like having tools that, are somewhat affordable, get that lifetime warranty, and they're at a store that I'm actually going to every once in a while, so I do need to get it warranted. I'm good to go. But I've liked the Husky so far. I love the grips on the Husky. It's one of my big things with Husky. So definitely a fan of the Husky brand tools. Here's a really important tool I definitely recommend everyone to have is a good bit extension. I've run into a number of times where I'm trying to take the security screws out of the back of a TV or the safety screws, and you got to get way up in the back of that TV. There's no way you're getting a screwdriver back up that far, and these are awesome. This is actually the Harbor Freight one, and it's got a nice little bit release right up here. Works really, really well. Definitely don't use it with an impact, as in you can use it with an impact is fine, but don't let it start impacting on this. You're probably going to break something off this thing, but it works just fine. And this thing has saved my butt a number of times. This thing is awesome to have. All right, having a nice little pencil is always good to have. If you got to make a mark somewhere, on a wall, a pencil is great because you can erase it really, really easily. And I think these are like the Harbor Freight, Home Depot or Lowe's ones. And they work just fine. No complaints about those. Got another Milwaukee screwdriver kind of buried in here. Just a short Phillips head number 1 on there. All right, then I've got a DeWalt pliers in here. I'm trying to remember when I put this in here. It's been a while. But I do like the DeWalt tools a lot. One thing about the DeWalt tools is check this out. If I compare the DeWalt and pull the other tool over here, let's hit the Husky right here. Check this out. It's kind of cool just how thin the DeWalt is. Notice how there's no kind of nut there. It's all built into the DeWalt. It's really cool just how thin the DeWalt tools can stay. And they do help you for reaching into kind of tighter areas. One thing I've liked about the DeWalt tools is kind of a cool thing there. I don't know if it's just me who've noticed that, but kind of just something I've noticed about the DeWalt tools, and kind of I bought DeWalt tools as I found them, or I found a good deal on them, which is actually kind of rare. I wish I'd have better deals on the DeWalt stuff. Needle nose pliers, of course, you're going to need a needle nose pliers. You never know. You got to pull something out of something that's way, way in the back of something, and needle nose pliers is definitely going to save your bacon. So I like the Husky one. I like the grips is my big thing for the Husky ones. And they got this little lanyard hook too, which is nice. So you got to hook that on, say like hook it onto your wrist somewhere without dropping it. It's a great thing to have there. I got a pencil in here. Don't really use that too much. I kind of use the bigger pencil a lot more. I got a really tiny needle nose plier in here. This is the Vice Grip brand. Now, one thing I like about this Vice Grip brand is a lot of the needle nose pliers, they don't get really tight up here at the tip. These Vice Grip ones are some of the best ones that I've found that stay really tight up here at the tip. They're not really tight here, but at the tip, they're really, really nice. And they've helped me out a lot in the past on jobs. All right, I've got just a few other little pliers over here that are buried. All right, this is the Quinn brand diagonal cutters. This is my backup for the Husky. And the Quinn brand is, pretty comparable to the Husky. I've actually broken one of these before. This is the warranty replacement for the one that I've broken. The grips are okay. Not my favorite grips on here, but they perform just fine. A little bit more expensive than the Huskies, and you know, for the price, I definitely prefer the Huskies a little bit over these. So kind of my opinion on those, but you know, they're still a great brand of tool. They work just fine. All right, then all the way over here, I have another Cobalt voltage tester. I keep a lot of these on hand. I know I've had a few of these fail. Ironically, the most ones that I've had fail have been the Milwaukees. I think I've had like 3 Milwaukees fail on me, and they've just been okay, but I like the Klein. The Cobalt at least has a nice warranty on them too, so that's something. I got another ink saw marker over here too in black. Can't be the ink saws at all. Now I do have one more thing in here, and check this out. So up in this pocket right up here, because I do so much service work for clients, I keep a south wire. This is a continuity tester. And what you can do with this is you actually take this piece off and you would attach this to, say, like some speaker wires that are in maybe a different room. And then you can attach this side then to the other side basically, and you can find out which set of wires matches up to that speaker wire. So really cool to have. I use it every once in a while when I'm doing discovery in a client's home, and it works really, really well for that. Definitely recommend to pick one of these up. I don't use it, I maybe use it once or twice a year, but when I do gotta use it, it is an absolute lifesaver, and it works really, really well. Been really happy with this tool so far. All right, now if you're wondering what is in the back here, well, that's where I keep most of my power tools and some of the larger tools back here. So check this out. I always like to keep my favorite impact is always gonna stay in that, that little pocket back there. Right now, I have the Makita XDT 16. Yeah, this isn't the latest XDT 19, but I still like the 16 just a little bit more. I've got 2 of the 19s. I use them for other tasks, but the 16 is definitely my go-to for doing AV work. It's a fantastic impact, and one of the big reasons I like it so much for doing AV work is all these settings and modes down here. So it's got 3 speed settings. So being able to do really fine tasks with speed 1 and 2 is definitely a must. And this thing is very precise, but also can be very powerful as well too. So perfect impact driver for doing AV work. All right, and then I do have a 3/8 inch impact wrench. I use these all the time, especially for doing hex key sockets and torque sockets. Being able to take these off really quick is gonna be a huge thing for doing AV work. It is just an awesome tool. Not the most powerful, probably one of the weakest 3/8 inch impacts on the market is this Makita. This is the XWT 12. You can find these really cheap on eBay. I'm talking under 60, 70 bucks. Really cheap, nice brushless tool, and they are an excellent tool to have on hand at all times. Now, back here is some of my favorite, most used tools, and yes, I do have 2 of them. These are stud finders. These are easily the best stud finders I have ever used in my life. So what's cool about these stud finders is they actually have multiple stud detectors built in. And check this out. All right, so let's say that you're up against a wall with this, and let's say that my hand is the stud. Check this out. It's going to be showing me the stud, but it's not just showing me the stud, it's also showing me the edges of that stud. So you can see the lights that are lit up, it's sensing the bone in my hand, and it's telling me, hey, your stud is this long. So it helps you not only find where the stud is at, but also find you the edges of the stud so you can center yourself on that stud. You can also tell pretty quick, is that a stud there or is that something else, by just how wide it is too. Pretty much every normal stud will be at least 3 lights long, and that'll allow you to find a stud really, really quick and make adjustments saying, okay, am I 16 on center here? Am I 18 on center? You can find where your stud bay is really, really quickly with these. I keep 2 on hand at all times in case the battery goes, and they are absolutely fantastic tools. I keep one more thing in here as well too. I also keep a multimeter for just testing out AV electronics once in a while. This is actually a decent one that I got off Amazon. It was actually on a crazy Amazon deal. I think this one's like 20, 30, 40 bucks in that range, but there's a coupon for it for like $5 on Amazon. I went and grabbed it. It's been a great little multimeter ever since. I don't use a multimeter very much, but when I do use it, this is a great one to have, and it works fantastic for what I use it for. And I keep one more thing back here as well too. Some of my favorite drill bits, the Bosch Black Oxide. They do great for drilling into studs quick. This is a whole set here, but I've got another set just sitting up here, which is pretty cool, and also a impact ready set. So it fits in there actually really, really nice. I can get a ton of drill bits in this case, and it is a fantastic case. So that is all that I have got in the tool bag. Now I do carry another tool bag with me that has just some power tools, but the only tools related to doing AV work are right over here. So my drill of choice, I always pick a Makita drill. I absolutely love Makita tools. This is the latest XPH14. This is my second XPH14. Whenever I get a chance to pick up another toolkit at a great deal, I replace my drill. I always want to keep as new of a drill as possible with me. Some of the Makita drills have been a little hit and miss, like the XPH07 is just an awful drill. However, this new XPH14 is absolutely incredible. I can put in Tapcons so fast with this drill. Also, when I'm putting in big lag bolts, you don't want to use an impact. A lot of those are pretty cheap lag bolts, and using a drill to put those in is the way to go. Now, a tool I don't use a lot, but I got an insane deal on it, is going to be the Metabo HPT. This is the WR18 DBDL2. This is a 1/2-inch impact. It's also IP56 rated as well. So having, a 1/2-inch impact on hand is always great to have. You never know when you're going to need that. So guys, hope you enjoyed this tour of an AV technician's bag. I've been doing this for at least 12 years now, and this is kind of the tools that I've kind of went to after testing out a lot of different stuff. I'm sure if you're an AV technician and you work for another company or doing different brands, your bag is definitely going to vary. But if you're just getting into AV work, this might be a good starter point for you to find some of the brands you might like, find some of the tools you may need working your way into the future. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, and take care. Have a great day, guys.